H.R. 1 before it does more damage to our elections. Joining me now, West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey, one of the AGs who signed the letter. I'm sure, Patrick, proudly you signed this letter and sent it up to the folks in Washington, right?
Well, we did proudly sign the letter because this is an absolute power grab by Nancy Pelosi and her cronies, and they want to effectively federalize a lot of the election integrity issues that have almost always historically been left to the states. So this is a very serious issue. We think it's ripe with many constitutional flaws, and I think it would not make progress for fixing some of the ballot access and integrity issues that a lot of us identified over the last year.
You know the law, you know the Constitution. I'm pretty sure from what I've read, states are supposed to be in charge. What H.R. 1 does is literally goes against the Constitution. It's stripping states of power and federalizing elections. That's the way I look at it, the simplest layman's terms I can put it, right?
Well, yeah, look, they go way too far. There are certain provisions of the Constitution that leave the exclusive authority to act to the state legislatures. And so this bill ignores that. And that's one reason why I think it would fail in court. And I've promised people, by the way, I would file a lawsuit. If H.R. 1 ever became law, I would go into court. And I think we'd have a very good chance of getting it struck down. But I think it helps for people to understand how radical this bill is. Talk about voter ID for just a moment. I think this is one of the most basic things that I think provides integrity for the process. This bill is trying to really do away with many of the state's voter ID laws. That's unacceptable on many levels. Then you have what the states traditionally do. They clean the voter rolls. In West Virginia, for instance, when voters are inactive for some period of time, you're allowed to, after you mail them and you try to hear back from them, you're allowed to move them off the list. Why is that important? Because we have to maintain voter integrity.
Yes.
And you want to make sure you have accurate lists.
Right.
And we haven't even begun to have the conversations about free speech and what they're trying to do. Everything is about establishing these new Hollywood blacklists. You know what happened last year when people used to put information up on the internet. Oh, my God, you're donating to President Trump. You're donating to some conservative cause. This is about shock, awe, and intimidation. And it's about Nancy Pelosi's takeover of elections. And that's just one of the reasons why so many attorneys general have stepped up to say, no, this can't stand.
Thank you. I have a feeling that the attorneys generals from the 27 Republican-held states in this country are going to be sending a lot more letters over the next 4 years to this Biden regime. Because when we see what's happening in the House, Democrat-controlled House, with H.R. 1 and with other bills like their George Floyd new policing act, the COVID bill, everything they're just ramming through because they now control 2 out of 3 bodies. And let's be real, with the deciding vote going to Kamala Harris in the Senate, they could be pushing a lot of this stuff through. Well, we really need you. We need you and other AGs to step up.
That's why the real antidote to one-party rule in Washington is to ensure that the Republican attorneys general are stepping up and opposing unlawful and unconstitutional actions. Because unfortunately, when you lose control of the House, the Senate, and the White House, people are going to have to turn to the states.
Yes.
We're ready. We're taking action. And I think you'll see not only a lot of letters, you're going to be seeing a lot of lawsuits. As these regulations start to get finalized, as these bills start to pass, you're going to move to a new stage. And it's important that the American public's educated as just what type of power grab this really is.
AG Morrisey, just a few seconds left, but I want you to tell folks out there around the country what they should be doing right now to fight back against H.R. 1.
Well, I think that America needs to hear your voice. I would actually be reaching out to attorneys general across the country, Republicans and Democrats, and urge them to take a close look at that and be willing to go into court as necessary and reach out. Go to our websites, go to AGs across the country, and also make sure that you contact members of the U.S. Senate. You know, the U.S. Senate, it's still a little bit harder to get things through. Try to weigh in, because while we're prepared to sue, it's always better if the political process stops it earlier. And so get active, get involved, get behind your AGs who are doing the right thing.
Attorney General from West Virginia, Patrick Morrisey, thank you so much for coming on Real America and breaking down H.R. 1 and how disastrous it would be for our election process. You take care.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Be well.